to Silverrun Forest Farm. We're here with Jake and Paige. Jake specifically. As you can see, we now have Eddie's field all cut out, and Jake's done the soil testing, which I'm sure he'll share the results. He's pretty happy with those. You can just see from the indicator on the top there, there's at least a patch of loam in the center of this field, but being a fresh field, it did need some lime, so just taking care of that as we get started with the day. We've got a few days to get our crops in the field, but it remains pretty busy and fairly daunting, as he still hasn't plowed out the new fields on the hillside that he's creating. They're largely cleared, but there are a few rocks and stumps that need to be dealt with, so it remains to be seen how big he'll actually be able to make those fields before he has to just get seed in the ground. So it'll be a pretty busy couple of months, I think. He's been tossing around ideas about what crops to go with. He's changed his mind about half a dozen times. I think he's settling on a combination of oats and corn from a grain standpoint to accompany the sugar beet. And I think his desire is to make one of the hillside fields, which we'll go look at in a little while, up the top, big enough that that's the only place he needs to put sugar beet, and we'll just sort of see how that goes, and then split the remaining fields, put potentially corn on here and over by the water view, and then oats on the two fields we got at the top. We'll have a look at the map in just a sec. I've just about got enough lime on here, I think. So if we have a look, so let's just look at the soil. So we've sampled this field, and as you can see, big area of loam on it. So that's good. Really happy with that result. Haven't done too badly. We saw the field the other day. So what he's thinking down here is putting corn in here again, putting some oats in here, putting some corn over here, probably thinking some more oats in here, and then if it all works out well, of course we've already got this field up here, so potentially putting more oats up here, making this field over here as big as you can to put the sugar beet in, and then another area down here for some oats. So this is the little grassed meadow where he planted the trees for Paige, so that's all looking lovely, but we're not going to put a crop in there. So that's currently the plan, and that'll be a nice collection. What will that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fields. So pretty decent sized operation. Now we'll just head over back around, and we can put some lime just down by the water. He ploughed that field out already. It wasn't very large. That only took a short bit of time. Looks like it's a lovely day out there on the water today. Still nothing happening on this derelict roller coaster. Doesn't look promising. And we still need to cut that field before we can reseed it for corn. But this one here is ready to go. In fact, let's see what the lime, how much lime it takes if we throw some on here. Yeah, a little bit. Only just the different soil types, so kick it up a couple of notches and then it'll be good just in case we get crunched for time next year. And then we'll do the other field over there, which we had the sugar beet in, which definitely needs it. There's some real interesting developments. You can actually just see in the top of picture over the vehicle there, there's some of these big log stacks. The new sawmills started to clear them. They've put in a bunch of containers. They're going out by truck and rail. There's some heavy equipment starting a little bit of site prep. So Jake's not exactly sure what's going on here. It's the most activity by a mile that he's seen in the couple of years that they've been here, and he was the only person he knows that might have any insight's Buff, whose mates have built this little BGA here. So he gave him a call, and what he's been able to... The short answer is he doesn't know. The rumours that Buff's spreading is that the sawmill was pleasantly surprised by how successful a go the folks, the investors behind the BGA seem to have made in that facility. And so they looked across the railway lines at that dead space there and thought, well, if there's investment money out there, maybe we can attract some of it to the area and build a little bit of an industrial park. You know, we can get the leasing on the land and bring some investment to the area, which might be useful for the overall economy of the town. So if that's the case, that's indeed promising. Begs the question as to what sort of businesses might be attracted, but at least it's a step in the right direction. And maybe if a few manufacturing businesses came to town, that'll create opportunities for Jake and the farm. So we're going to have to wait and see with that one. It's not like Jake needs any more work to do, so that's fine. But it has caused him to second guess himself on what to do with his crops and the like. In the end, he decided he's just not going to know, so he'll go ahead pretty much on the plan that he was on and see where that takes him. The only variant he's really contemplating, what I laid out a minute ago, is rather than put all of the oats in, does he put a couple of fields of soybeans alongside, so sort of split the oats and the soybeans. So that's a possibility. But certainly 2 fields of corn and at least 2 fields of oats is the plan. So we'll just pop up here and finish this field and the one across the road, and then we can duck up to the hillside. We might get a seeder going on these couple of fields, and while we go and cut out the field for the sugar beet. Certainly need to be starting to get some seed in the ground today. Don't need to get all the fields done in one go. So as it's turned out, this hasn't needed much lime. And they've been lifting the pH by between 1/4 and 1 most of the field, so that's 1/4 and 1/2. It hasn't required much at all. I suspect the one over near the water will need a little more. Go over and find that out in just a second. And you can see we've ended up with just a slight difference in growth stages in our barley because we got interrupted when we were planting. So just occasionally it shows up. That's what's going on in that field there. Just quickly whiz around here. As it turns out, this one hasn't needed much either, so we really are just topping up the lime here. The soil's not in bad shape at all. And that'll do for the lime. Yeah, so we need to get some fertilizer on here before it grows too much further. It's all pretty bad. So that's a job that needs to be done. Either today or tomorrow, I think. When Jake did check the animals before, and so the horses just need a little bit more hay. He topped up the oats already. The cows are good for food, but they're full on slurry. So what he's thinking is, as much as he'd like to start seeding, it'd probably be a good idea to throw a couple of tanker loads of slurry on these fields before we drop the seed in. So that might be the next job on the slate. So it's looking increasingly like you won't get to seeding until after lunch, and also cutting out those fields with the plough. There are more rocks and stumps than he'd like to have to deal with in both of the hillside fields that he's got to cut out, but that's just how it goes, I guess, when you're trying to make something out of nothing in the bush. There's a growing amount of manure there. 50,000 litres of manure. So as we move into next year, might need to think about which of the fields we could put that on. Do a lot worse than try to get our fertiliser costs down, particularly as our number of fields. It'd be a good idea if you put slurry in this tank before you took it down there, Jake. Busy thinking about something else and not paying attention. Should have noticed when you pulled away it felt a bit light. That's better. 8,200 litres of slurry will go a lot further on the field now. It looks like we're putting on about 60 kilos a hectare, which is an interesting measure. So it's going to be about 130 pounds a hectare. Which makes it about 45 pounds an acre, I guess. Don't quote me, but I think that's how the conversion works out. The good news is one tank has gone very close to the field, so based on that, we'll do it. One more tank will certainly finish this one, and then maybe we'll get away with 2 tanks on the bigger field over there. So check back in with Jake when he's a little bit further down the track. One more load of slurry will go pretty close to finishing this field. I think we've only got 2 more tanks left in the tank at the cow pen, so one will be plenty, and wherever it is when we fertilise the remaining fields, we'll top off anything that's needed. Let's go get this last tank load on. And there we go. Just about out of slurry. Field's looking a little bit patchy, but nothing that we can't fix when we get a crop in the ground, and we can top up the fertiliser according to the needs of the crop we plant. So that's been a good exercise to make use of the slurry that we have. See if we can get a seeder organised. We might just give the equipment a bit of a once over before we whack the seeder on. Wash any of that slurry splush off. Let's not get too fussy about it. See where the seeder is. Seeder planter. We want a seeder. Be best to pull it out the other way, actually, from where it's situated. Pop on there. Got a little bit of seed in it. Let's see here. Oats we want. And have we got any other seed? There's no seed in there. There is seed in there, so we need the front loader. Let's just grab that bucket of seed. See if we can top off the seeder. We just get a little bit out of there. There we go. Just got to find the right spot. That'll do for the minute. You over here out of the way. And we'll no doubt use that remaining in the next couple of days. Use one of our contractors for this job, I think. It's our work width. We've got the correct fields selected, our sawmill field. Let's do 3 headland. Actually, let's do 4. We'll start on the center with sharp corners. And that will be the plan. And the start point is just behind us. In fact, right here. Let's get lined up. There we go. First waypoint, and you're away. Oats going in the ground. And in fact, looks like nitrogen is perfect for the most part. So that's a bit of a bonus. Did a good job of lucking in there. Let's head back up the farm. He'll be busy for a little while, and we can grab the plough and head across to the new field. The plough is just over here. I think the plan is going to be Jake's pretty much cleared the area that he wants for the field. So what we'll try and do is just mark out the boundary, and then we can have a look at what else needs to be done to get it into the right shape. So we can see here, this is the section we had last time. Now we're going to extend back behind us. There's a rock there that needs to come out. So what we could do is in fact work back down the hill there. Because whilst we needed the bigger turn area for, this is going to be the sugar beet field. We needed the bigger turn area for the sugar beet combination trailer, or a bigger one in the future. We can clear at the end later in the season. We can easily get the seeder in to, or the planter in, to do what's required, even if it's treed at the end. So let's select create fields and drop our plough down. We ultimately need to plough the whole lot. If we just mark it out, at least then we can see what we're working with. That's the plan. And ultimately, we want to end up with an area that's about, there's our first stump. Make a smooth corner on here, I think. About 4 times the size of what we had up here before, because that'll then take into account the field down the bottom and the other areas that we're not going to be planting with sugar beet this time. As you can see, he's been pretty busy clearing trees away, and whilst they're not being processed, they're just pushed down the hill generally or into the tree line just to make the space that he's looking for. We don't want to, that section there looks to be too steep to work, and we don't want to create a huge runoff problem, so the idea here is just to be a little bit conservative. Now you would like to extend just across there a bit, but we've got trees in the way for the moment, so we'll work around those. And we've still got the yarder set on the top of the hill there, so he was using that to at least get some of the trees off the hillside. Oh, we've picked up a tree there. That sort of slope looks manageable. Any further and it'd get a little bit challenging, I think. So there are a couple of trees to go when we pull the yarder lines in, which we're almost at a position to do, just looking at the area that is cleared. Work around those for the minute. You can see that lovely area that is grassed and treed over the road. Paige is very happy with that, and it's come up really nicely. It's a nice spot to sit and have a bit of a picnic by the lake. Run the plough down here again because we needs it anyway, having had the sugar beet in it. Interesting to see if the system will calculate a size for us as to how big this field turns out. It looks like there's at least 3 or 4 rocks to deal with, so we'll need the rock breaker up here probably next time. Let's jump out of the cabin for a second and have a look on the overhead map. See what we can see. So we can see the line we've pretty much traced out here. So if we draw a custom field, we'll start down in this corner and work our way around. I'm just using the right mouse button to insert dots. We don't have to be super precise because we can edit it afterwards. We don't want to worry too much about the yarder position because we can take that out of the way. There we go. So there's our field, give or take. So we can save that. We'll save it. We want to, it has given us an area. So 3 acres. So if we compare that size-wise, what was CP2? That was 2 3/4. So we'll be a similar area in total under sugar beets with just this field. So the question is, do we plant somewhere else with sugar beet? So we've still got time to make that decision. But this will be a good size. And it'll be fully fertilized and prepared as well. So the yield should be pretty good when we're done. So we'll call this our sugar beet field. Hillside beets. Up there. This field over here doesn't need, well, it's ready to plant basically. I think if we have a look. Could potentially do with some lime, which we might do on there next time. And then down the bottom here will be a smaller field. And that needs a bit of work. How many rocks have we got to get rid of? Certainly one just over there. One here. That tree to move, that's 3. There's the 4th one hiding in there by the looks. And a 5th one up here, so we'll take those trees out when we get the yarder down. And you can see where he's going with the field that we're putting in over here, so potentially we could put sugar beet on this one also. And then use what was the cornfield to test out that harvester that Agco are trying to convince us to lease. So you can see where he's up to here in terms of loading the platforms. Just getting the trees gradually processed and out of the way. There's still a few lumps and bumps to take out of here, so that'll be the plan for the rest of the day, I think. Go and get the equipment to bring over to deal with that while the seeder is working. But for now, we can continue on ploughing a little bit of this and continuing the prep of the area. And stay off the trees. And until next time, Thanks everyone very much for watching. Stay safe, have fun. See ya.